Michael wasn't just nervous, he was scared shitless. He paced back and forth in the hallway in front of his ex-wife's apartment for almost 20 minutes. He needed to talk to her about this ridiculous situation, and he was afraid of making her too angry. He desperately wanted to smoke a cigarette. It used to help him calm his nerves before he quit smoking more than a year ago. He thought about just leaving the hallway and going to buy a pack of cigarettes, but he knew that if he did that, he would come up with even more excuses for not coming back here. He wanted to be a man in this matter and confess everything to her, but at the same time, he understood that a 20-minute walk along the corridor would not give him a good view. His ex-wife, Kim, was not an evil person. She was always calm and at times very sweet. She did get a little angry at times, but no more than most people. The only time he saw her truly furious was when he confessed to her that not only was he having an affair with his secretary, but he also got her pregnant. Kim yelled things at him that he never thought he'd hear from a woman, but he knew he deserved it all. Soon after, they filed for divorce. Kim was unhappy with herself for believing that Michael would be faithful to her after his previous infidelities. He cheated on her years ago when they were first dating. She let it go because they weren't too serious about each other at the time, and she knew about how he cheated on the woman he dated before her. So the signs were there from the very beginning, but she was in love and thought that he loved her enough not to cheat. When it came time to discuss the divorce process, Kim agreed to do it quickly and amicably, mainly because she was so angry with him that she wanted to end the marriage and move on with her life. Michael was very lucky that she wanted to end it so easily. Most women would try to send him to the cleaners. Kim didn't want any alimony from Michael. She made good money, so she didn't need any additional financial help. They kept all their personal belongings and agreed to split their finances in half, including selling their home and even splitting up their furniture. This was 18 months ago. Since then, he has heard almost nothing about her. Now he urgently needed to talk to her. Finally, he managed to motivate himself and rang the doorbell. He wanted to run away, but he forced himself to stay. Kim opened the door, so it was too late to run away. "Michael, what are you doing here? I need to talk to you about something. Can I come in?" "Certainly. I'll make us coffee." The fact that she didn't get angry when she saw him seemed like a good sign to Michael. At the beginning of their divorce proceedings, she was angry with him over every little thing. She seemed fine now and was friendly. His ex-wife stood in the doorway wearing a bandana on her head, blue overalls, and a pink t-shirt covered in paint stains with long brown hair. She was 32 years old, a year younger than Michael. Moreover, under those clothes, she had a gorgeous body with large breasts. He had seen her like this many times before when she was painting. Her main profession was an accountant, but she also earned money by painting. He remembered how good she was. Many of her works ended up in galleries, and some even sold for good money. Michael was lucky that Kim had just made coffee shortly before he arrived. She remembered that he liked a little cream in his coffee with 1 piece of sugar, and that's what she made for him. Michael ate 3 sugar cubes in confusion, but he wasn't going to discuss it. He expected the conversation to be friendly. They were in the kitchen, sitting at their old kitchen table, which Kim had inherited during the division of property. "I missed this kitchen table," Michael began from afar. "Yes, this table looks good in the kitchen. I didn't want to part with it." Kim even smiled. "Do you remember what we did when we got it?" Michael chuckled. "Yes, sure." Kim was referring to how they had sex on that table before eating. He was surprised that she would bring up something like that. He took it as another positive sign that everything was fine between them. If she was willing to bring back such good memories, then she had definitely moved on from their failed marriage. "How are Lucy and the children doing?" asked Kim. Michael was surprised again. He didn't think Kim would be calm enough to ask how Lucy was doing. It was Lucy who was his secretary, with whom he had an affair and got her pregnant. Michael now lived with Lucy, and they raised their children together. "It's okay. Thanks for asking," Michael said. "Yes, she is pregnant again, for about 2 months now, and we plan to get married as soon as possible." "Congratulations," Kim said, smiling. "I'm very happy for you." Everything went much better than Michael expected. It seems his fears were in vain. "You look good," very calm. "You mean compared to the nightmare I was plunged into when we were getting divorced?" "There were reasons for the nightmare. I cheated, and you were rightfully angry at me. Well, after it was all closed and over with, I decided there was no point in being angry. I needed to move on with my life and become the positive person I used to be again." "I'm glad to hear that," Michael said sincerely. "So, to what do I owe the pleasure of seeing you?" There is a problem with our divorce. Instead of calling about it, I thought it best to come here and talk. Is this a tax issue that we had a couple of years ago? Didn't we figure it all out then? No, it was decided, and all our joint taxes are in order, Michael assured. Then what is the problem? Michael took a sip of coffee and put the cup on the table. We're still married, he blurted out. Kim was just finishing her coffee when he said this. She almost choked. What are you doing? We're still married, he repeated. I don't know exactly what happened, but I thought I sent the documents. But it turned out that they were in my file cabinet all this time. So we are still legally married. Kim just looked at him for a long time without saying a word. This made Michael much more nervous than before. You said you would take care of everything, Kim said slowly. Yes, I said so. We agreed on a very easy divorce. We divided our assets, and we will move on with our lives. No child support or any issues that could drag this case out longer than it should. Yes, I remember that. And you being such an amazing lawyer, she said, using her fingers to make air quotes. You said you'd make the paperwork easy and I wouldn't have to worry about a thing. That's right, I'm sorry. Another long silence fell between them. Then, out of the blue, Kim threw her coffee in his face. The coffee was quite hot and slightly burned my lips. You son of a bitch, you piece of shit, Kim continued without stopping. Michael let her yell so they could discuss what they should do next. But it took Kim a while to calm down and stop. I deserve all of this, but we need to discuss what to do next. Kim calmed down and assessed the situation. She felt that anger would not lead to anything good. She was angry with him for a long time after the divorce, and she didn't like what she had become, so she worked hard to move on and get back to normal. Kim took a deep breath and mentally recited a mantra that helped her relax. Sorry about this outburst. I thought that now I was free of all this. We'll just file again, and I can accept that we'll stay married for a few more months until this all blows over. There's nothing special about it. That's not all. Damn it, she screamed before calming down again. So what's the problem? Lucy and I want to get married very soon. By this I mean in about 6 weeks. Everything is already planned, and we can't put it off any longer. So what you're saying is that you want to get a divorce quickly. How to do it? There is one way if we get the marriage annulled. Kim knew what that meant. An annulment would invalidate their marriage. This would essentially mean that he never existed. We were about to get an easy divorce, so that shouldn't be a barrier, Michael said. It's almost the same thing we should have done the first time. But you managed to forget to submit the documents? Kim snapped at him. I can't understand it myself. Kim didn't like the idea of saying their marriage didn't exist. It was a big part of her life, and now he's asking her to sign a legal document saying it never happened. But if she really wanted to move on with her life, she had to do it, even if she had concerns about it. Okay, let's do it, Kim said solemnly. Michael felt relieved and took a big, deep breath. Despite the coffee and insults thrown at him, everything went well for him. I'll start filling out the paperwork and be back tomorrow to sign it. Okay, she answered. They got up and went to the door. Michael apologized again, and she just accepted it like she accepted everything else. At the door, they said goodbye and even hugged each other. It was then that Michael made his biggest mistake when, during this hug, he slid his hand down her back and grabbed her ass. Kim looked up at him with alarm. Why are you grabbing my ass? Yes, I think. Accidentally. Automatically. She took a few steps away from Michael. This goes beyond all boundaries. I am so sorry. Honestly, I don't know what came over me. Let's just get this over with so we can both move on, she said, giving him an angry look. Absolutely. They said goodbye, and Kim slammed the door behind him. Michael prepared the annulment paperwork and made sure everything was completed quickly so he could safely prepare for his wedding to Lucy. He wasn't going to let anything stand in the way of marrying her, especially his own mistakes. As he prepared the paperwork, he kept thinking about how he grabbed his ex-wife's ass. While he did enjoy the sensation, he brushed it off as a momentary error of judgment. Yes, there are some residual feelings between them that may have played a role in this, but that shouldn't mean anything. Now he was with Lucy, the mother of his children. He was in love with her, so he left his ex-wife for her. Even if she didn't get pregnant, he was going to leave Kim in the end. Pregnancy only sped things up a little. He also thought a lot about annulment. He pretended to Kim that it wasn't a big deal to him, but deep down he was upset by the thought. Of course, this would solve several problems that arise mainly due to his own mistakes, but he didn't like the idea of invalidating his marriage to Kim. Regardless, it was a big part of his life. He arrived at Kim's apartment later that evening. She let him in, and they sat on the living room couch to talk things over. Kim was again wearing jeans, this time with a tight, breast-flattering black t-shirt. Michael couldn't help but admire her body, but tried to immediately turn his attention to the task at hand. "Here are the documents," he said, placing the annulment papers on the coffee table. "I signed my part. You just need to sign." Kim quickly scanned the annulment papers. She found that they were no different from the original divorce papers, except that the papers stated that she had never been married. She held the pen in her hand, ready to sign, but suddenly felt doubtful. "Is there something wrong?" "I don't know," she said hesitantly. "Sign here." He pointed to the signature line. "I know where to sign. Don't make me an idiot." She got up from the sofa and went to the kitchen. Michael was stunned and followed her. Kim took the beer out of the refrigerator and began to drink greedily. "May I have a beer?" Michael stuttered. "If you try to grab the bottle, I'll break it over your head." She became furious. Michael expected her to calm down like yesterday, but this time she really lost her temper. "Is there something wrong?" "It's not like that here," she shouted. "First you cheat on me with your secretary, by the way, a complete cliché, and she gets pregnant. Then, after we've negotiated an easy divorce and I'm finally moving on with my life, you show up, say we're still married, and ask me to annul the marriage so you can marry that bitch. Then, right before you leave, you grab my ass." He didn't just slightly graze his ass, but crushed it thoroughly. "Yes, I'm very sorry. I don't know what came over me," he answered nervously, "and now you act like none of this matters. I feel like crap, but we need." "I know about you and Jennifer," she interrupted. "You slept with her when we were married. She confessed everything to me after the divorce." Michael was silent. Jennifer was one of Kim's closest friends, whom he seduced when she was having problems in her marriage. There was no point in denying it. "You never told me that you know. After the divorce, I wanted to move on with my life, so I decided not to worry about it. But now I want to know, besides Jennifer and this secretary, how many more were there?" Michael took a deep breath before making his confession. "Besides them, there were two more." Kim took another long sip of her beer. "And today, when I was talking to one of my friends, it turned out that a couple of months ago, she saw you enter the hotel with another woman. So, are you and Lucy cheating?" "Yes, that's true," Michael admitted, bowing his head in shame. He admitted that he cheated on Lucy several times. "You bastard," Kim said. "I won't sign your papers." "What?" He fell. "You heard? I don't sign anything. Now get out of my house." "But why? Why wait any longer?" "Because I know this will hurt you as much as you hurt me, and don't act like you don't deserve it." "Kim, please," he whined. "Okay, I'm a cheater, and you really deserve revenge, but don't do this. It won't solve anything. It will hurt you too. Not as much as it will hurt you." Another sip of beer. "Do you think this will affect your relationship with Lucy? You won't tell her, will you?" "No, I won't tell. This could get confusing. I'll just sign the usual divorce papers, which will take several months to complete. After that, state law requires a waiting period of 3 months before you can remarry. So, my revenge is to just do what we planned before, get a regular divorce. Only this time, you won't be able to remarry for at least the next 6 months. I will take revenge on both of you." Michael was stunned. Kim thought of everything about how to fool him. He wasn't even sure if Lucy would even forgive him after everything that had happened. "Please, Kim, I will do whatever you want. I'll give you whatever you want. Just say it, but please don't do that." "Anything?" she asked with a devilish smile. Michael didn't like her look. The only time he'd seen one was in a courtroom when the opposing lawyer had something important to use in a case. "I hope it's within reason, but yeah, I'll do whatever," he replied nervously. He waited anxiously for the continuation. Kim finished her beer and put the bottle on the table. "I want you." "What?" Michael was dumbfounded. "All I want from you is for you to have sex with me." Michael was stunned. He expected her to ask for money or some favor. But sex with her? "Are you serious?" Like a heart attack, she answered mockingly. "I can't do this. I can't cheat on Lucy." He shook his head. Suddenly, he realized the absurdity of his words. "I mean, of course I cheated, but I can't do this to you. Are you saying that you can't cheat on your girlfriend with your legal wife?" There was some strange logic to what she just said that Michael couldn't refute. "But why do you need this?" "Well, first of all, I miss our sex," Kim admitted. "Despite everything, you know the sex was fantastic." Michael nodded and smiled. "It was amazing. But I also like the idea of repaying you both," she continued. "I will make you cheat on your girlfriend with me, and I will know that I used her man behind her back. I have to admit, it's a good plan. Michael grinned. Do you really want me to cheat on Lucy with you? Don't forget, I had you before than she did, so I have more right to have sex with you. I'm not sure I can do it. It will work out. It will work out. You tried yesterday when you grabbed my ass, she recalled. You might want to try to convince yourself that it was just a simple mistake, but deep down, you were hoping to have sex with me. Perhaps you're right, he said solemnly. So you're a cheater, and you'll probably cheat on Lucy anyway, she continued. So why not cheat on her with her own wife, the woman you are legally required to sleep with? Michael didn't bother asking for a beer. He just walked over to the fridge to grab a bottle, and Kim didn't mind. He took a sip, thinking about Kim's proposal. She was right. He was a cheater and will most likely cheat again. And, legally speaking, he did not commit adultery by sleeping with his own wife. Besides, if just having sex with Kim once was all she wanted and it got the ball rolling, then he'd get quite a lot out of it. Okay, deal. Wonderful, Kim grinned. She walked out of the kitchen, taking off her shirt along the way, revealing her white full-cup bra that supported her perfect breasts. Wait, you mean right now? Why not? I have to sign these papers, don't I? Michael knew she was right. He finished his beer and followed Kim into the bedroom. Once they got there, they started kissing and taking off each other's clothes until they were completely naked. They both forgot how great they kissed and enjoyed it. After a while, they got out of bed and got dressed. Michael used the bathroom to get himself cleaned up and ready to go home to Lucy. She might have asked Ed why he stayed with Kim for so long, but he had already come up with some good excuses. When he came out into the living room, Kim was just signing the annulment papers. Here, as I promised, it's as if our marriage never existed. No matter what is written, our marriage really existed, and I'm glad that it happened. Thank you. I'm glad to hear that. Kim handed him the papers. It took Michael 2 glasses of water to feel better after the intense sexual training. Kim walked him to the front door, and he was about to leave when she suddenly said at the end, "Before you go, I just wanted you to know that I don't regret what we just did. Actually, I liked it. Despite everything, I liked it too. That's good to hear because if you want, we can continue to meet." Michael's eyebrows shot up in surprise. Are you serious? This is, of course, not necessary. It's only an option if we both want it. So, can I have an affair with my ex-wife, who I originally cheated on with the woman who is now my fiancée? This question seemed confusing to Michael, but he was sure that he had formulated it correctly. Let's face it, you're going to cheat on her again anyway, so you might as well do it with me. But I'm just giving you this opportunity. If you say no, I won't have a problem with it. Kim was surprisingly calm. How long do you want to maintain this romance? Not forever, she assured. Maybe until I myself seriously want to be with someone else, or you decide not to cheat on your wife anymore, or for any other reason. Michael was speechless. He could not have imagined such a development of events. He came to fix the situation to marry Lucy, but now it turns out to be a repeat of the same thing that destroyed his first marriage with the same women, but in reverse order. He was shocked, embarrassed, and excited by the opportunity. So you will be my mistress? Kim thought about it for a moment and then smiled. Yes, I think that's exactly it. I kind of like the idea of being a mistress. At least in this situation, it is so. Michael was surprised that she was so keen on the idea of starting this affair. Surprisingly, Kim didn't seem to stress at all. Come on, it's kind of fun to have sex with your ex, Kim laughed. I was looking forward to saying it as we had sex. It does sound funny when you say it out loud, Michael said. Well, I'm not going to say yes to your proposal, but I'm not going to say no either. I'll just leave this option open, we'll see. Fair enough. They said goodbye and hugged. They grabbed each other's asses. Only this time there was no awkwardness. Michael very quickly filed the annulment, much to Lucy's relief. They married without problems and had their 3rd child later that year. Things were going very well for Michael and Lucy, but eventually Michael got that itch he used to get when he wanted to be with other women. He felt very bad. He did not want to do anything to destroy his current marriage. So he went to Kim, who was quite happy to help him with his wishes. Michael had an affair with Kim for the next 5 years, without Lucy suspecting anything. Kim always tried to help him be careful, not so much for him, but to keep having amazing sex. Eventually, Kim met the man for herself and fell in love again. When this happened, she naturally broke off her relationship with Michael. He admitted that he would miss the time they spent together, but at the same time, he was happy for her. Kim and her new man moved in a few months later, and by then Michael felt it was time to call it quits before it got out of his control. Even when he was tempted, He never cheated on Lucy again. Over the years, Michael and Lucy added 3 more children to their family. As far as he knew, Lucy had never suspected anything about his affair. Subscribe to our channel so that your second chaff doesn't cheat on you. And go ahead and listen to the next story, because this story is nothing compared to the next one.